All right, hey everybody, welcome back. You guys know I love a good deep dive. And today we've got a really interesting one, DJ Vlad. You sent in a ton of stuff about him and VLAD-TV. Honestly, even I was surprised at some of the things I found. So get ready, because we're going to uncover how this guy went from like a hip-hop blogger to a straight-up media mogul.
You know, what I think is so interesting about DJ Vlad is how he kind of like mirrored the whole rise of the internet with this media empire he's built. He started small, like you said, focused on hip-hop, but he branched out so quickly. And it's kind of like how we consume things online now. You know, it's a little bit of everything all at once.
Yeah, it's so true. I remember when I first heard about VLAD-TV, I thought it was just like another hip-hop news site, you know? And now it's this massive platform that covers like everything, music, true crime. I even saw some stuff about like alien conspiracies. It's kind of crazy.
He really understood how people were starting to consume media. And it wasn't just about the headlines anymore. It's about those in-depth interviews, the long ones, the kind you just don't see on like regular TV anymore.
Yeah, like how many times have you watched a 5-minute interview on a late night show? And you're just like, wait, but there's got to be more to this story. Vlad gives you that more. He gets into it all, the personal struggles, legal battles, even like prison experiences, stuff most people wouldn't even touch.
Yeah, you see that a lot with guests like Boozy Badass. I mean, he's had a crazy life. And in Vlad's interviews, you see him like really working through his past, his time in prison, trying to stay on the right path.
Totally. It's like getting a glimpse behind the curtain, you know? They're not just these celebrities, they're real people.
Yeah.
But honestly, what keeps me coming back is Vlad's style. The way he interviews people, it's just different. He has this way of getting people to open up, you know?
Oh, yeah. His style is definitely polarizing, but it works. He does his research. He comes prepared.
Yeah.
And he isn't afraid to just ask the tough questions directly, no sugarcoating. It's like he creates this space where people feel like they can finally say what's on their mind.
You even see it with someone like Kanye West, who's not exactly shy about speaking his mind, right? But even with Kanye, there are moments in those interviews where he seems caught off guard. Like, did he really just ask me that?
Yeah.
It's captivating to watch.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what makes it so controversial. And let's be real, so addictive. Everything is so polished and perfect on social media these days. And Vlad just throws that all out the window. He gives us something real, something raw, and sometimes, yeah, something messy.
But it definitely rubs some people the wrong way. I've seen a lot of criticism, people saying he's disrespectful or sensationalistic, or that he's, you know, exploiting people's struggles for views. Yeah. That Keith D interview about Tupac's murder is a perfect example. Some people called it a breakthrough, others called it straight-up exploitation.
Yeah, the Keith D interview is really important because he claims he was in the car when Tupac was shot. And that reignited this whole huge debate about one of hip-hop's biggest mysteries. And Vlad, his whole career, he's walked this line, uncovering the truth, but also stirring up controversy. And I think with his work, it's almost impossible to separate the two.
You're so right. And here's the crazy part. The guy is a business genius. He's built this multi-million-dollar empire, like, from nothing.
Yeah, estimates put his net worth at over $10 million. He really understands the internet. And he knows how to, monetize content.
Okay, but hold on. How did he do it? He wasn't some tech guy in Silicon Valley. He started as a hip-hop blogger.
Well, think about it. VLAD-TV really blew up right when YouTube was taking off. And he was one of the first to see the potential of creating original video content for YouTube.
So he was writing that first wave of YouTubers. But he didn't just stop there, did he? He's got documentaries now, that American Gangster show. And of course, the VLAD-TV interviews are still going strong.
Exactly. He understood that you got to diversify. And he was one of the first to build a personal brand around his style of interviewing. It's not just about the platform. It's about him, DJ Vlad, the brand.
So this guy who starts with a hip-hop blog was like a visionary for the internet before the internet even knew what it was. That's incredible. But it also makes his story even more complicated because you have this savvy businessman, this media mastermind, but then you also have this controversial interviewer who a lot of people think, pushes the limits.
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? And it's what makes this deep dive so interesting. We're not just looking at a successful entrepreneur or a controversial interviewer. We're trying to understand this complex person who's both of those things.
Okay, I'm hooked. Let's keep going. This is fascinating.
And it's kind of crazy how he stayed relevant. I mean, the internet changes so fast. Part of it is, like you said, he just knows what people want to see, what they'll talk about.
Totally. It's like he knows what's going to go viral. Like those interviews with Lil Boosie and Webby. Oh, man, those were gold.
Oh, yeah. Those were so good. You got to see their friendship. They grew up together in Louisiana. And they talked about all the challenges they had breaking into music. It felt so real, like you were just listening in on two friends talking, remembering the old days.
Exactly. And that's what makes him different. He doesn't just ask, the basic questions. He digs deeper, finds those personal stories. And those are the ones that stick with you.
Like that interview with T.I. when he talked about being in prison, how it changed him. The reality of being locked up, what it does to you mentally. It was powerful, man. Really honest.
I remember watching that, and it was like I was seeing a side of prison I'd never even thought about. And I think that's what Vlad does so well. He takes these huge names, these icons, and he shows you that they're human too, with their own struggles and triumphs.
Yeah, it's compelling, even when it's controversial. He's not afraid to ask those tough questions, the ones other people avoid. But there's a reason he does it.
You can't deny, though, he knows how to get people talking, how to create these moments that everyone's going to be sharing, like that Kanye West interview where Kanye just went off about everything, his creative process, mental health, you name it.
Oh, man, that was huge. Everyone was talking about it. It was everywhere. I think that really solidified Vlad's reputation as the guy who can get anyone to talk.
Right.
Even Kanye.
But when you have that much power, you got to be careful with it, right? And that's where things get tricky with Vlad. Like we said before, some people accuse him of taking advantage of his guests, using their struggles to get more views.
It's a tightrope walk, for sure. He wants to find the truth, get people to open up. But there's always that risk of crossing the line. I think the Kamtv interviews really highlight that.
Yeah, those were a bombshell. Kamtv claimed he was right there when Tupac was killed. And he gave Vlad all these details. It was crazy. It brought this whole case back into the spotlight.
And it was controversial, for sure. Some people thought Vlad was exploiting a tragedy, using this unresolved case to make money. But others saw it as a way to get justice for Tupac, to finally bring the truth to light.
It's a tough one, for sure. Because on the one hand, you have this potential to uncover something huge. But on the other hand, you have to think about the ethics of it all.
And that's the thing about Vlad. He forces us to ask those questions.
Yeah, like what are the limits?
He challenges us to think about what's okay, even when it makes us uncomfortable.
It's almost like he holds up a mirror to us, showing us how much we love drama, controversy.
And maybe how much we like to see the darker side of things.
Yeah, even if it's not always pretty.
It's like they say, if it bleeds, it leads. Vlad gets that.
But he's not just trying to shock people. He's a businessman, a really smart one. So how does that all fit in?
That's what I find so interesting. He's not just one thing. He's complicated.
All right, I need to know more. Let's get into the business side of things. How did he build this empire? What's the secret?
Well, there's no one secret. It's more like a recipe. And to understand it, we need to go back to the beginning. See how he used YouTube to his advantage, and how he understood the way people consume content online.
Okay, so he was early to YouTube, but there were a lot of people on YouTube early. There's got to be something more to it than just that.
Right, it wasn't just luck. Vlad understood that YouTube wasn't just some place for, random videos. It was a platform where you could build something big. You could control everything, the content, how people saw it. And that means you could make money from it.
So he wasn't just thinking about going viral. He was thinking like a real media mogul. But how did he actually make money back then? Wasn't it all about ads?
Yeah, ads were a big part of it. But Vlad went further. It's like imagine building a brand like Oprah, but instead of TV, you start on YouTube. You get people watching, people who are loyal, and then you find other ways to make money.
All right, so it wasn't just about the ad money. What else was he doing?
He started making merch, like VLAD-TV t-shirts and stuff. He did deals with companies so they'd sponsor his videos. He even got into making documentaries like that American Gangster series. That got him off of just YouTube,
Wow, so he was building this whole empire, starting with YouTube, but going way beyond that. It all comes back to those interviews, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. The content is key. And those interviews, that was his thing. He knew how to make content that people wanted. He knew what people are curious about, what they want to hear. We all want that unfiltered truth, even if it's a little messy sometimes.
It's like he knew exactly how to get people talking, how to get them to share his videos,
Exactly. He was a master at that.
So in a way, he changed the game. He didn't play by the old rules of the media world. He made his own rules.
Yeah, he's a real independent. He shows how powerful the internet can be. You can build something huge all on your own.
That's kind of inspiring, but it also makes you think about where all this is going, What about journalism? What about ethics? Vlad doesn't really give us easy answers, does he?
He's a complicated guy.
That's for sure.
He shows how complicated the media world is today.
I think that's the big takeaway here. DJ Vlad is way more than just, like, a guy who interviews rappers. He's a symbol of how we're obsessed with famous people and how we want to see the real stuff, the unfiltered stuff, even if it's not always good.
Yeah, he's a product of the internet,
Yeah.
but he's also shaping it.
So to everyone listening, keep checking out VLAD-TV, see what you think. Is he making things better, or is he crossing the line?
It's a question worth thinking about.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring and keep those questions coming.